Hey gang, I'm gonna do a quick video about why every day is Independence Day and why we should celebrate our freedom. But first, there's a flag behind the computer that y'all can't see, obviously. But I'm gonna say Pledge of Allegiance. Y'all can say it too if you want to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, gang. The reason that we should celebrate every day our independence is because we live, first of all, in the United States of America. We are free, so what to say. The reason that we should celebrate this is because in other places around the world, they do not have the rights nor freedoms that we have. We should also celebrate it every day, other than with the 4th of July, because if we don't celebrate and we forget, then do we really have our freedom anymore? Well, maybe it's just me, but I don't think so. So we should celebrate our freedom every day. That being said, you have the freedom in this country to do a lot of things. You have the freedom of speech. You have the freedom to assemble. You have the freedom of the right to bear arms. You have the right to, protest. You don't have to have soldiers living in your home. You do not have to have, people coming into your house at night if they suddenly think that they should. You are allowed to do pretty much as you want. The reason I say that this is so important is because in countries all over the world, we have seen that they don't. And if it's just my thoughts, I think that we have become a little bit ungrateful for what our founding fathers did. And pretty much, nobody ever thought, well, it's not a big deal. It's just what those old guys with funny looking wigs did. They wrote us they wrote the Declaration of Independence, so Thomas Jefferson did. He was a very smart, wealthy, not man. He had some money, but he was not rich by today's standards. When they wrote that Constitution, or the Declaration of Independence, and they signed it on July 4th, 1776, they risked everything. Heck, they wanted to make the king mad in some ways. That's why John Hancock, the president of the Continental Congress, signed his name so big, so that old King George wouldn't even have to put on any glasses to see that he had signed it. Pretty ballsy, so to say. The reason we should celebrate is because I'm going to read y'all the Bill of Rights. The First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment or religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, abridging the freedom of speech or press, or the right of the people to peaceably to assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievances. Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Third Amendment. No soldier in time of peace should be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in the time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law. Number 4. The right of the people to be secure in their homes, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Number 5. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land or naval forces or in the militia when in actual service time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject to the same offense to be twice in jeopardy of life or limb. Nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor he deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without compensation. The reason that this is so important is because in other countries, we have seen, no, they do not get to go anywhere and just set up religion. In Burma, in Burma, or whatever you want to call it, I'm going to call it Burma. They don't get to go set up religion. If you go to, other Middle Eastern countries and you try to practice something outside of the Islamic faith, you probably will not last. The free exercise thereof, do you realize that in the United States of America, you get to go and practice whatever kind of religion you want to, and no one can say anyone about it. That is huge. You have the freedom of speech. It doesn't matter if Joe Bob down the street doesn't like it, or your brother's ex-wife doesn't like it. You have the freedom of speech and of the press. That means you can write anything on a paper that you want. You can write anything on a blog, any kind of stuff. Not, obviously you can't threaten the president or anything like that. And you have the right to peaceably assemble. That's where people are taking it out of hand right now. Peaceably is not throwing rocks at the police. If you're throwing rocks, a rock is a weapon at that point. Therefore, you're not peacefully. And the petition to government for a redress of grievances. In other countries, if you question the government, you are a political prisoner and you'll be taken to a camp or you'll be put on display as a body bag. And secondly, when we can peaceably assemble, if you look at what was happening in Ukraine, no, they were not peaceably, but they were assembled and the government gave orders to march on those protesters. Now, are they doing something wrong or right? Your opinion. But in my opinion, the fact that we can assemble for whatever reasons that we want, if we don't like the fact that, Joe Bob down the street is selling little kids dope, we can have something done about that. Secondly, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. We get to have an army that is well-regulated. This is huge because in other countries, they don't have security. It's everybody for themselves. Your community is your home, and it's pretty much your biggest form of government. And also, the right to bear arms and to keep those which shall not be infringed. In other modern countries, people do not get to have firearms and or weapons. Australia, you can't have guns. England or the UK, they have a campaign right now called Turn in Your Life, Save a Life. And third amendment says, no soldier shall be in your home during peacetime without the consent of the owner. If it's your brother or your son or something, you should let them come in, it's your family. But that's not meaning that you have to, under law, during peace. And in other countries, these were all wrote because it happened to the colonists, obviously. But in other countries, they have soldiers living in their houses. If somebody wants their house and it's a soldier, they kick them out, get rid of the people, whichever way they choose, and they take over the house. And the Fourth Amendment says that you cannot be searched. This is huge because in other countries, obviously, y'all can go look these up, or if you know them already, you know how this works. In other countries, if you have something that they think could be helpful to their governments or to one of their operations, they will come take it. This does not happen in the U.S. They cannot search you until they have a warrant unless they have probable cause. Obviously, if, you're shooting up, the neighborhood and they see you walking around and you've got a gun on you, they're probably going to ask you if they can search you. And this is a big subject right now because of all the police brutality. Really, the police are for the good of our communities. Yes, there's good and bad people everywhere, but that's in everything, guys. So, them being able to search you, if you're doing something stupid, first of all, you probably shouldn't have been stupid in doing it. But second, they're wanting to go home at the end of the day too. So it's not like they want to cause trouble either, really. Like I said, there's good and bad people, but as a general rule, they're just good guys too. So, and then no person should be held for a capital or otherwise infamous crime unless on a presentment or indictment of a grand jury. And it also says that you can't be tried twice. So, if you didn't do something and everybody knows you didn't do it, then you don't have to worry about it if you're not indicted by a grand jury. And second, if you're found non-guilty in any sort of case or domestic dispute, then you cannot be tried again. And it says right here, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So this pretty much means that your life cannot be taken, your liberty cannot be taken, and your property cannot be taken. This is why a lot of people have a problem with the death penalty. This is where I am just saying what this says. You can have your own thoughts, but, if you really do something, then yeah, you should have to pay a consequence in my mind. But if you didn't do it, maybe we should have more witnesses. And it says that you can't be put on a witness as yourself or be used against yourself as a witness. So, when if any of y'all have been in trouble, I haven't been in trouble, when a cop or police officer, any kind of officer reads your Miranda rights, anything you say can and will be held against you in court. It means anything you say will be held against you in court pretty much. So, if you have said, yes, I did this, there's probably a good chance that they're going to take it for everything that you just said and multiply it. Now, if you did not do any of it and you're very quiet about the situation, you might be okay. Again, I'm not telling anybody how to get out of trouble or anything, but I'm just saying how the law works. So, I'm going to stop this at the 13-minute mark here, or a little bit after, actually, because I don't really feel like reading the rest. I've got y'all far enough into it, y'all can go research it. And when y'all make a video, tag me in it. I want to see what y'all do. So, gang, keep your head on swivel, watch your six, stay frosty.